They say that behind the brightest of smiles, there is a series of darkest days. And as a friend who has observed you closely, I've noticed that you take on life with such a big smile and a brave face. Share your experience on how you deal with your dark days, given that your schedule is packed with work and study. I mean, we all of us do have like those moments where we aren't okay. We have a mental breakdown and all of that. But then time doesn't stop for anybody, right? In spite of all of that, if we still try our best to meet deadlines, we still try to attend meetings, reply to our bosses, and all of that. So, you know, like how do you manage it all like during such instances? Like how do you manage to get up, go to school, get work done, and all of that in spite of all the mental blocks and all the challenges that you're facing?
Wow, like the current me kind of like relates to it. I think like that's something that I'm going through right now. Um, mm, yeah, so for me, I think like after I've moved here, I've had these small things that happened that I kept like brushing aside. And I kept telling me, okay, you're here to study, you're here to finish your degree, and like there's no time to stop, there's no time to rethink, there's no time to put yourself in a space where you're gonna completely heal from things, you know. And that's been difficult because I also go to therapy, and like usually I just like try to compartmentalize my life, and like I thought like that's something wrong that I'm doing. But when I spoke to my therapist, she said, yeah, that's actually good, you know, that's it's good that you my thought process usually would be like, okay, um if I usually attend therapy like 15 days once, meaning 2 sessions a month. And I would just think, okay, this is something that I will definitely give my attention to in my therapy session that's in like next week. So right now I need to do this, you know. So like it's very tough to live this mechanical life. And I think like after I finished my degree, which I did last month, I think like things all like came running back to me to an extent where like things that happened like last year or the like year before that. And then like there are these instances and feeling of like, okay, why did I even remember that incident? And then like I would just be like cringing or embarrassed because I did something, and then it's just like, you know, why did I do that? I mean, like, why is there this recurring memory in our brain, you know? And I think usually that occurs when you haven't healed from something completely. And I think like it's also about when and how you choose to heal. Nobody can push you to like, okay, heal right now, you know, I'm going to tie your hands. Like no, like you heal as life takes you to different levels, you heal as life shows you different things. And for me, I try to not push myself, okay, I want to heal, I want to get better, because I think the better is for me putting in the effort to go to therapy, putting in the effort to meditate, putting in the effort to journal. These are the things that I can do on a day to day life. But I cannot be like, okay, like I need to deal with this particular incident, right? I cannot do that. And like healing is not linear. Healing isn't something that you can just do. It just happens to you, just like how trauma happens to you. So I think the only way that you can deal with all of this is to just change your perspectives on things. And that's also a process. It doesn't happen so quickly. And like, even if you change your perspective, that perspective might not work for you. There are like a lot of things. But I think with my self growth journey, that I would say is usually with, okay, there are a lot of things, so like take a deep breath. And like and I also like suffer time to time with anxiety sometimes. And I think like it happened like last week, it just all got back to me. And then like it was like a reminder for me to slow down a little bit, to just tell myself that it's okay, it's just too much, I just need to take a deep breath, and I just need to figure out what's important and what isn't, or like figure out that space at which I need to give my immediate attention to, right? So I think it all comes down to just being so aware that you're in the darkest days of your life, and then just do what you can do. I think you cannot work with 100% efficiency as you're happy when as you're like compared to the days that you're sad. And I think like just to be super aware that like it could even happen like, okay, today I'm like super happy, but tomorrow I might not be, and your emotions are never this straight line. And like I was listening to this person on YouTube, like probably I can leave the link below, but I don't really remember the name. But he said that your life is always up and down, just like how your heart rhythm is. But like if it turns flat, it just means that you're dead. Like life should be all about highs and lows. And I think like it's just really normal that you're going through this. Even let's just say like depression, anxiety, or like any other mental health conditions that people experience are just the complete awareness in your mind that you've been going through something even before your diagnosis, even before your longer duration of sadness. I think like it just doesn't get to you. It's like it just slowly gets there. And I think if I'm super self-aware that okay, like I experience like okay, this whole week was happy, and then like when the next week starts, the first day I'm just really sad. When I'm self-aware, I know how to navigate around it. But if I push it aside and if I rush into doing things like how I did last week, then like end of the week or the beginning of next week, that one day would turn into 2 days, and then the next week it would turn into 3 days, and then like so and so and so until like the by end of the month, like the entire week you will start feeling like that. And like once you kind of push it all away, the far you push it, the with such force it would come back to you. you know and I think that's something that I kind of follow, that okay, today I am sad, so I'm not going to prioritize so many things. I'm going to prioritize small tasks, and then achievable tasks, and then like just the happiness of just like giving it a tick mark kind of like might make you feel like okay, you achieved something today. And like that's the first thing, being self-aware. And the second thing would just be like telling myself that okay, today my energy level is just 50%, and I gave 50% to my work or to something that something with my university or some work that I prioritized for the day. But even though I cannot give my 100%, I gave my 50. And like that's all that I can do right now. It's not about me willing, it's not about me choosing, it's about what I can, and like just being understandable to yourself is something that is really important. And the third thing is like, I remember the last therapy session, I was telling my therapist that I feel everything around me is too much with like my job search and like with everything. And I just feel like I want to quit. And then she told me, and like I also told her a lot of self-talk that I have with myself. Of like, if I have one unproductive day, then I keep like scolding myself that, okay, you're stupid, you're dumb, you wasted the entire day. And then like there is also this podcast that I listened to, and then like the podcaster says about feeling guilty when you're being unproductive. So these are the things that I was facing. And then my therapist told me that, see, like I've known you, I've spoken to you for like months now, and like she was also a little angry from the tone of her voice, and she told me, you're not being kind to yourself, and I am feeling angry for you because you're not being kind to yourself, and like you're this kind person, and I feel that you wouldn't say what you say to yourself to another human being. And then I realized, yeah, like why am I doing that to myself, but like I'm still trying to rephrase and rewire my brain but it still gets to me, and I think it's really important, and like you cannot change that as well in a day. But like I was like, whenever I face something, I kind of like listen a lot more relatable content within that space. And I was listening about how to rephrase your thoughts in your head. And then like there was this wonderful method that I'm like putting into effective use. And then it says that, okay, if you say to yourself that um, I am dumb, the first thing you need to do is to realize, or like just ask yourself back, why do I feel this way? Okay. And like, and then keep questioning it in a sense that, okay, why do I feel this way? What can I do about it? Are you really dumb, or is it this one situation that makes you feel dumb? Or like, how can you not feel dumb? What are the things that you can do to not feel dumb? And like I think like just asking yourself certain questions and answering that will help you understand why you feel a certain way, right? And sometimes it's just that, okay, I'm sad, and then like why am I sad? Is it because did it come from a place of you? Like even for me, when I'm too happy for a long time, I would feel sad about it. I'm like, why am I too happy? And like just asking these questions and answering would really help. But like even like these are the methods that I follow. But my therapist also said that you don't need to intellectualize your feelings a lot. You don't need to know why, how, what can I do. Probably you can just sit with your feelings and just accept that, okay, like today is all about, I mean, every day is all about me, but today is about my emotions. I mean, like every day we do a lot of things that involves other people, like going to university, working, like looking for a job, and then talking to people, doing your podcast or YouTube or posting content. And we do so many things, but where is that space where you spend with yourself, right?
Yeah.
And like, how do you preserve that space? And I think like a lot of people don't even consider that to be a space. And like, they're always surrounded by people. They're always, and like once they get to that part of feeling lonely, and then it just gets like, I feel uncomfortable, so I think like just by sitting with your feelings and just trying to understand that space better, I think like the whole of 2022 has all been about that for me. Like most of the time I try to avoid any and every social interaction, and I try to sit with myself and like accept that part of you feeling lonely, and then like trying to change that perspective to a sense that, okay, you shouldn't be feeling lonely. You still have your own company. And I think like that comes from a very strong self-love perspectives, because and there was this time last year where like I was telling my therapist that I hate myself. I do because I talk about self-love a lot, but I just feel like I cannot be alone. So what is the point of self-love? And like I just hated that part of myself where like, why can't I be with myself? Like it just gets uncomfortable. And I think like there are so many changes that I made last year, so many uncomfortable things that I need to experience to get where I am today. I know like there's a lot of work that needs to be done. Like now I can go without weeks without actual human face-to-face interaction. I'm okay with that. And for me, like I'm
In a
okay.
good way, I hope.
Yeah, definitely in a good way. I mean, like I don't crave for it. Like I
Yeah.
might feel happier if I'm doing it, but I don't crave for it. Like before,
Right.
before last year, I would be
Was
like,
like,
I don't, yeah. So if I don't meet a person like in a day,
yeah.
like the entire, like by end of the day, I would be super sad. That is the person I was. And now like going with a 2 weeks without actually meeting a person or having like a real conversation, I would still be okay with like doing what I regularly do. But like it's still a very lonely journey for sure. But that I kind of started defining that loneliness. Like, what is it to be in your own space, be in your own company? Who are these people whom you can actually talk to through your phone? And like, what are these honest conversations that you can have in your own head? I think like these are the things that I was it wasn't even a choice. I think like I was forced to do this for myself. And I think it comes from the backstory of living abroad, living by yourself, and actually being in a space where you're trying to find find friends, find people around you. And sometimes for me, I think like I thrive a lot about connection. I think a lot about being honest with each other. And if that life values don't match, I don't try to fit in. I don't try to be fake. I leave. I ask them. I be so transparent. And that's something that's not easily acceptable, because I also spoke about this in one of my podcasts, where people are like from Monday to Friday they work, and towards the end of the week they just want to have fun, dance and have party.
True.
I'm
Live
not
the
like,
life.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, if I like, see, I'm a fun person, I can do all of that, but I cannot do only that. Like, I
Yeah.
I would
So
want to like talk to the person. I would want to like get to know them in their own space and in my own pace, but that should happen. Like for them, like I've met a lot of emotionally unavailable people. That's what they say they are. And then it's just really scary to be in that space where, okay, you're emotionally unavailable, but I am this person full of emotions. So how are we going to be friends? It's difficult to define that space where both of us are like toxic to each other. And I think like I've been through all of these kind of like friendships and relationships in my life, and I just felt like this is something that I deserve. I deserve to be in a space of calm, of peacefulness. And I think like that started with this one seed thought that I don't want to be happy, I just want to be at peace. Like
yeah.
happiness can highly depend on another person can make you happy, or another person can happiness is just like one glimpse, one moment of you just feeling it, and then it's gone. I don't want that. I want peace, even if it's just by myself. And like, yeah, so I think that answers the question.
Yeah.
So
See,
now,
that's like I said, that's kind of like what the conversations are like. And I think just to recap on what you said, which is, like the way I see dealing with dealing with mental breakdowns while you're so occupied with work. I feel like sometimes you let work be a distraction. Like sometimes when you have those mental breakdowns, you just try to like get yourself like you let work consume you. You try to become a workaholic so that you can put in all of that energy into that and stuff. And I think that's where the whole idea of segregating your life, like different aspects, like okay, this I'm going to save it for later for therapy, this I'm going to deal with it now, this I'm going to put it on hold. Like I think that's where that comes in handy, because that way you don't let the emotions get the better of you, like it doesn't let you affect your job or your vice versa and all of that. So yeah, wow,
yeah.
that was like a free session for you all guys. Like I learned a lot, and I'm sure some of you listening in probably learned a lot too. So
I'm glad.